Hey, DJ.
Hey, what's up, Wes?
Did you know that Kelly Clark, the rodeo clown at the Wylie Rodeo, is in the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame?
Actually, I did because Kelly Clark is my friend, and he told me.
You don't have any friends.
Oh, Kelly's my friend.
All right. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Live, Love, Wylie podcast, hosted by Wes Dorsey and DJ Shirley. Connecting people in the city we live and love. You know, DJ, we say this all the time, you know, when events roll around, but it's that time of year again.
Yeah, we have a few hot spots dates wise in Wylie.
Yeah, so it's that time again, Wylie. We're going to bringing you updates on events that are coming up. So what do we got going on,
Well,
DJ?
first of all, I have to thank the Live Love Wylie band because I don't need the emails.
Dude, they've been sweating it out back there in the
They
back.
have. They've been hanging out, waiting for our next episode, which we're back on track. We're getting them knocked out, and we have to do this one because this one's a very special, very big deal. And I just want to say howdy to you.
Howdy, partner.
Is that the thing?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
Well, what we have coming up is the Wylie Rodeo, which is one of my favorite events that we do. I say that about all of them because they really are all genuinely my favorite events. I think we do some really awesome things in town. But the Wylie Rodeo has a special place in my heart. I have literal blood, sweat, and tears in that arena. So not from bull riding because they won't let me. Or maybe I declined. I don't know.
I think maybe they're afraid you might be too dominant.
Something about insurance or something, and maybe my wife had an objection. I don't know.
Yeah.
The kids were down, but no, the Wylie Rodeo is an awesome event from the front end of it all the way to the actual event itself. And the reason it holds a special place in my heart is because it's put on by the Wylie Chamber. And Wylie Chamber holds a special place in my heart. One of the first organizations, actually the first organization I joined when I decided to start my business, and has been, an integral part of our growth and what we've done with our company. But just the relationships that go into, a lot of people look at the rodeo and they see it happen, but they don't know what actually went into it. And I can only speak briefly on that because I know what goes into part of the preparing, but there are people on the back end that have been working on this since the last one ended.
Oh, absolutely.
And none better, right, than to bring in. So we have Tina Stelnicki here with us today, and I want everybody to welcome her, and I will let her give her official new title. So because that's a big deal, and I know she's excited about it, and everyone else is too. So I want everybody to welcome Miss Tina into the Live, Love, Wylie podcast. Miss Tina, we're glad to have you.
I'm excited to be here. This is a great opportunity to, of course, talk about the rodeo.
Of course.
And a lot of people, it's amazing how many people don't know about the rodeo.
They still don't know.
It really is.
Still don't
They're
know.
nonstop comments on the post, on the people who are talking about it. And it used to baffle me even more than it does now, but it's a regular thing. Any event that we do, and the rodeo's been going on for how many years, Miss Tina? This is special,
30
right?
years.
This is the 30th Wylie Rodeo, and it is incredible to me. It's almost as though it would surprise me just as much as someone went, we have 2 high schools in Wylie. It's that, level of awareness. I think we do have a lot of new people, that moved to Wylie and have been on a regular basis. So I think that some of that, but you see the comments from people who are, I've been here 15 years and I didn't even know we had a rodeo.
And that's the crazy part is because, when you talk to rodeo people, they say the Wylie Rodeo is one of the best rodeos of the year.
Yeah.
Leading into the nationals that are coming up right after that.
Yeah, no, and this year it's even closer. This year, I think that's what Kelly was telling us. It's even closer this year is, Wylie, and this is the significance of it, is Wylie is the last stop before the finale at the state fair in Dallas. So some of these guys who are on the fringe, and they're really good riders, but they need those extra points to make it to finals. This is one of their last opportunities, if not their last opportunity, to go and score some of those points to be able to make it into the finals. So you have an exceptional number of riders that come out and that want to be a part of it.
Yeah, top tier riders.
Yep.
Top tier cowboys.
Miss Tina, when is the rodeo this year? I know obviously we have to, and I lost my headphones. I knew that was going to happen. I see why Wendell doesn't wear them. It's hard with this cowboy hat. But when is the rodeo this year? I know the dates kind of move a little bit just based on the weeks they need to be, but when is it this year?
So it's Friday, September 8th, and Saturday, September 9th. So generally speaking, we're always the weekend after Labor Day.
Okay.
We've had some fun weather challenges over the years, and that date had changed a couple times.
Sure.
But in general, we're that second weekend.
Okay.
Or the weekend right after Labor Day.
That's awesome. And it's, I know, and I got it up on the screen here now. I pretended like I didn't know, but it kicks off at 6:30. That's essentially when the gates open, correct?
Yes. So the gates open at 6:30, and then we have kids exhibition events, and that's as fun as the calf scramble. So
they wouldn't let me do it.
Yep.
They wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah, me either.
Yep. There's one calf that has a blue bow ribbon on their tail, and then there's one that has a pink ribbon on their tail. And so the kids get to go out and chase after the calves and hopefully get one of those ribbons. And then we have prizes for them. We have gift cards from Say It With Sugar this year. That's
Awesome.
our new kids game sponsor.
They got some good sugar cookies.
Yep. So we're excited to have Say It With Sugar be a sponsor this year. It's the first time that I've known that they've been a sponsor. So
That's awesome.
We're excited to bring them on board. And then the other thing we have, and I just think this is the funniest thing, is the boot scramble. And so the kids take their boots off on one end of the arena, and then they go down to the other arena or the other end of the arena, and then they have to run and get their boots or shoes or whatever they had on their feet. Number one, they have to find them because it's amazing that they get so mixed up. And so then the first couple that get them on first, then they get some prizes too, some gift cards. But that one's really fun to watch because it's just amazing how many times they can't find their shoes.
Oh, and there's some that I've seen leave with the wrong ones.
Yes,
They'll have
that's true.
a mixed match pair, and
And how about running on that dirt all the way, get dirt all over your socks, and try to put your boots on?
Oh yeah, I had not walked out in the arena before, and I did a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like really thick, soft dirt, and you just sort of sink into it.
It's like worse than walking on, you think about walking on sand at the beach, and you kind of get weighed down or whatever. It's way worse than that because it's layers and layers of dirt that, you just.
Well, the Cowboys need that cushion for
sure.
the ones that get bucked off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, no, I mean, it's inevitable. At one point or another, they're gonna fall.
No, it's important, but it just felt so weird. Number one, it felt weird to be walking around the arena. I was like, oh, should I really be here? So that was fun. But
well, speaking of sponsors, I mean, like Say It With Sugar being a first-time sponsor, I think that you and I had talked, and we've got quite a few of like new first-time sponsors this year, right?
We do. We have Reed Plumbing, and of course Jen, Reed, and Joe. They're just so active in the community. Frost Bank is also new to the community. Bledsoe Hydromulch, and those are some of our new ones.
That's awesome.
Get Her Done Remodeling, and then we have, I think this is fun. So you can buy general admission tickets, and that's for just you find a bleacher and you sit down. But what we have done over the last couple of years is offered reserved seating. Mm-hmm. So you can go to the Chamber website, purchase reserved seating, and then we'll assign you a seat. Well, we have to convey the number or the seat number to those people that purchase those tickets. And in the past, we've always used cow ear tags. Mm-hmm. And numbered those. Well, this year with the 30th anniversary, I really wanted to do something different. And so if you purchase reserved tickets, you're going to receive, I'm going to say, kind of the retro style motel key.
Oh.
And so on one side, we'll have our special 30th anniversary logo. And then on the other side, we have Countryside Smiles has graciously sponsored this special piece.
That's awesome.
But you'll get a red one night and a blue one the other night. It just depends on which night you come.
Oh. So you actually get to keep them.
Yeah, so
That's
you get to keep it.
very cool.
And then so it's a lanyard, and it has the key fob on it, and then there'll be a little number, and then that's your seat number.
Okay.
So
That's neat.
But I'm excited about that. So I haven't talked very much about it. So
No,
you guys,
I didn't even know about that. That's a
so you guys
plot
are
twist.
getting
I
a
know.
little bit of a scoop.
I like that.
And then everybody that tunes into the podcast has a little scoop.
Like,
too.
how do I get the key thing?
Yeah. So, but they're really cool. So
Well, I know sponsors are, being the chamber's a nonprofit, you guys rely heavily on, it's not cheap to put a rodeo on, from everything. I mean, just every little thing that has to happen, from the things people don't even think about, like lights and ice. No one thinks about some of those small little bitty details that all have to be there. Hey, right? Yeah. All the little stuff you just don't realize. We've got a great business community here, as we know, but I know that there are what you may call legacy sponsors, that are some of the first to step up and some of the biggest sponsors for the rodeo. And I'm sure we want to talk about them. What are some of those this year? What do those guys look like this year?
Yeah, I'd really like to have that opportunity. Inwood National Bank, because Marvin Fuller really was one of the forefathers of the rodeo. They are what we call our founding sponsor. And so we welcome their participation. And of course, even just starting the rodeo was such an exciting thing.
Yeah.
And then McClure Partners, John McClure came to the area really, it seems like a few years ago, but I'm sure it's been a while. But they are our press box sponsor.
Okay.
And so when you come into the arena, one of the first things you see is their sign up there on the press box. So I think that's kind of fun.
I've hung that sign a few times, I feel like.
Yes, the scissor lift. The scissor lift. So, and then you mentioned Kelly, our rodeo clown. He's so much more than that. But All Pest Solutions is our rodeo clown sponsor. And so, again, when you come to the rodeo, one of the things you'll see is Kelly will have on a All Pest Solutions shirt, and then he'll talk about, mention All Pest Solutions. So those are some of our returning sponsors. And Encore Electric Delivery. Hyatt Place is considered Dallas Garland, so they're located over kind of east of Garland Road, facing George Bush Turnpike.
Okay.
And they're the official accommodations for our producer and,
awesome.
And then again, Kelly Clark's team, because Kelly also does a lot of technology for us and is another helper with our media needs. And you just don't realize how much media is involved in technology.
It's a full show.
Yeah.
It's produced. It's from start to finish. Everything's pretty much choreographed.
Well, it really is. And that's, being able to be behind the scenes and being able to see that, talking to those guys the last couple of years that I've been there, it very much is, to the minute. And they are very serious about that, which is just good. It's a very good thing, but going and I would go ask, hey, when is this going to happen or that going to happen? So that way I know where I need to be for
8:02.
Exactly. And it was to the minute. And if it was 8:04, they were going to have a talk after that on Friday night, and we're going to figure out how to get it back.
What's really cool is when you're an audience watching, you don't realize how scripted it is, and you just think, it's fun, it's games, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
But all that stuff is scripted out just to provide the highest value show that they can produce. Yeah. That's why this rodeos is one of the best that they put on during the year.
Yeah, no, and I think it's everything. It's from the the rodeo itself, being able to sit there and watch the rodeo, and I've always been a fan of rodeo. I grew up for a little bit in Mesquite, and was accustomed to that rodeo there, and it's a different environment, but it was always fun to be able to go. But then being so involved in this one and being able to see just the hands-on that goes into it, and from the pre-planning to the actual execution of the event. And well, Tina, like speaking of pre-planning, I know there's been some tweaks. One of those you just talked about, kind of how reserve seating is going to be working. But for the folks that are coming out, I know there's been some changes, a little bit of changes about parking and shuttles and entrances and things like that. We want to touch on that a little bit
definitely.
So people can be prepared for what to expect that night.
Yes. So one of the things that we've done this year is that we do offer free parking. And free parking is going to be at Sandon International, and that's located at Sandon, the intersection of Sandon Boulevard and 544. And the great thing is then we rent buses, and so those buses will take you right from that parking area, and they will drop you off right in front of the ticket gate.
Yeah.
So it's very convenient, and you don't have to worry about how am I going to get from, point A to point B.
Right.
When the rodeo's over and you are coming out, you just go back to where you got off the bus, and there'll be one waiting there, or just a couple minutes. It doesn't take very long. And so we are thankful to Sandon International for opening their parking lot to us and having this opportunity. So one thing that we're trying to do is that on the way out, coming out of Sandon, you're going to turn basically north, so it's to your right, and then head to 544, because there is a little thing called homecoming going on at Wylie High School. So we have worked very diligently with emergency management at the city. Again, another just terrific partner of ours.
Yeah.
And we've worked very hard to work on this traffic plan this year.
Yeah.
And we do every year, but this year we really wanted to iron it out and try to make it as painless as possible for people both coming and leaving the rodeo.
Right.
So because it will be different, but again, thank goodness to Sandon International and them opening their parking lot too.
No, that was a big deal. I mean, knowing that we've talked parking every year that I've been around, and where the rodeo is, it's at the ISD Ag Barn, and they have the facility there, and we're honestly like we talk about the Wylie Rodeo, and we talk about different people saying how awesome it is and how we have such a really cool thing that most people can't pull this off. And a lot of it is the groundwork that went into that, us even having an arena and a place to do it, but not a whole lot of parking there. No. So it's always a challenge when you talk about several thousand people coming out every night for the rodeo, is that you have to put those people somewhere. And so I think this year, it's just important. The instructions are everywhere, but if you're watching this, know that unless you are instructed otherwise by someone very official, the parking is at Sandon International, which is a convenient place. It's easy to get in and out of. You have easy access to 544 or 78 from there. And it's close. It's right up the road from the rodeo. So it's going to be a literal 5 minute, not even a 5 minute bus ride, and you're going to be right there at the front gate.
Yeah, I think that's great because I don't know the official attendance numbers, but I would assume that over the years this thing grows year over year on the amount of people that show up to the rodeo, and for Sandon to open their parking lot, that's huge. Yeah. That's great. That's a good deal.
Yeah. And no, I think that what can people outside of the rodeo, because obviously we have more that happens there than just the rodeo. What can people expect when they come out? Pre-event, during event, obviously after the event, it's time to go and come back Saturday if you got a ticket. But what can they expect, and what will there be there for them to do the night of the rodeo?
So we do have, I think it's our largest number in a long time. I call it our marketplace, and we have vendors. We have both retail vendors, so there'll be lots of goodies to purchase and maybe start some holiday shopping. I don't know if everybody wants to hear that or not, but just interesting items to purchase. And then we also have businesses, and so they have lots of information. They'll also, most of the businesses will have a game because, of course, this is a very family-friendly event, and lots of families come out. So so be sure to go into the marketplace, because you will find some entertainment there. We also will have a face painter. And some of you who have, I'll say, been around for a while, you may know Mr. Thorpe. And he has the barrel train. Mm-hmm. So that will be making a return. And he's always so thrilled to be able to come out. And a lot of the kids in the area know him because he's usually at Boo on Ballard and a lot of the other community events. So yes, Mr. Thorpe with the barrel train will be there. And then, of course, I think we'll say the icing is all the different food vendors.
Yeah.
And so we've got Bold Barbecue is joining us, and I think this is their first time at the rodeo. So excited to have them. I'm going to say kind of a fan favorite is Pink's. because he does do the fair, the state fair. And so we're fortunate that he comes back every year and brings just all of those, I'm going to say, fair foods. So we have ice cream and we have lemonade, and so we've just got some great. We are always looking for variety,
Sure,
because we know that everybody has different things that they're looking for in the area of food or beverages or anything like that. So I think there's a really nice selection this year, and a lot of vendors and businesses as well. So
when you told me something kind of cool, and we didn't say we were going to talk about it on the podcast, but you and I were talking, I guess it was yesterday, specifically about food. And something that I thought was neat, when we talk about opportunities and that's exactly what the chamber is there for, and what the chamber tries to create is opportunities for businesses to be connected to the people in the community, and for the community to know who those businesses are. And the Wylie Rodeo is a hot spot where we have people. It's a large number, I would say, and I do know the demographics, but it's 90% are local, and then you have 10%. We do have people come from out of state and things like that come to the Wylie Rodeo, but you have an opportunity that for a reasonable price that, you can come out and set up a booth, whether it's a business that wants to put information out or you actually sell something physical that you want to bring out, food or whatnot. But what I thought was neat, and I'm familiar with a lot of these events, is that the chamber rents you or sells you your spot, but then you guys aren't looking for a percentage of food sales or receipt proof or anything like that, which a lot of these events do. A lot of these events, require that you rent your space, and then, there's a certain percentage that gets kicked back in. And, being a nonprofit, that might not be a bad idea, but you guys chose to go the route of rent your space, and then what you do is, you're a business, and we want to see you do well. And so I think that's cool. And maybe not everybody knows that. These podcast people may watch after the rodeo, and the opportunities kind of maybe close now, but there's another one that rolls around next year, and that's someone that
there's always the 31st.
The 31st, and the people that didn't know about it this year didn't know that they could have their spot out there, or business out there. Number one, get involved with the chamber, because then you would have known. But number two is now you know, and that it's a great opportunity for you to be in. And I don't remember exact numbers, but it's to the tune of 3,000 or 4,000 people a night. So it's a large crowd that you probably couldn't get that kind of advertisement or those kind of exposure for the price point anywhere else. So it's a great opportunity.
Yep. I think we pride ourselves on providing the space and the opportunity at a very affordable price. And yes, I know a lot of events that as a food vendor, you have to tell them how much money you are bringing in, or provide a amount to the nonprofit based on your receipts. And we don't do that. So people can run their business and do things how they want to do it. We try not to have a bunch of duplicates of food type.
Sure.
So that's the only, we do ask for an inventory, but that's just to try and make it fair for all the different vendors.
Well, yeah, and I think if you've got 9 different cookie folks, then it doesn't, everyone only had cookies. Yeah. But if you've got Bold Barbecue, and then you've got ice cream, and then you've got a variety there.
Yeah, barbecue goes with rodeo, and then I'm excited about this fair food. I look forward to the state fair. I got to look forward to fair food, and to have a chance to get some fair food before the fair.
Yeah, it's like it's a precursor.
Yeah,
for me, it's like get your stomach prepared.
Yes,
because that if you eat a certain amount or a certain type, most of the time,
can't eat that fried stuff. Every day,
but
all year.
But I think you're stonewall preparing your stomach for what's coming, and it's the holidays.
It's like a warm up.
It is before the holidays too. Yeah. The holidays are a no hold bar too. It's all a preparation.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't get ready for marathons. Right? I get ready for food marathons. Well, Miss Tina, is there anything that we didn't cover that we want to make sure that we get out there? I know obviously WylieRodeo.com is where they can go to purchase tickets. They obviously could visit the chamber Facebook. There's going to be all types of posts there as well, and they can get linked back to it. But the easiest is WylieRodeo.com. But is there anything else that we didn't cover about the Wylie Rodeo that we want to make sure that we cover before we close out?
I would really like to mention that several years, it's almost becoming a given on Saturday night that we will sell out.
Yeah.
And we keep an eye on the general admission bleachers, and if those just look like they are full, then what we do is we tell people at the gate, and we try to catch them before they even get on the bus, the shuttles, and we say, now it's standing room only, and we want to make sure that you know that. Now, a lot of people, that's how they want to see the rodeo, standing room. And they come for the marketplace. They come for the barrel train. And so they come for the experience and not necessarily wanting to sit, but we do try to make sure. I remember last year we basically were sold out at 8 o'clock when the rodeo started.
Yeah.
And so I really think buying your tickets online is just a good idea. We started that just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good option for people. And I would recommend doing that because, like I said, it's really challenging, especially Saturday night, and especially this year because with homecoming, the game being Friday night, then I think Saturday night is going to be even more popular, and it's always popular,
right?
But I think it's going to be really popular.
No, I agree. I think that if you want to ensure that you have a spot, if you'd like to have a spot, then purchase your tickets, or alternatively, you can plan on standing room only on specifically Saturday night. But I completely agree with you. And it's still a good environment. There's still places to stand. You see the cowboys that are involved and the staff that are in the arena will absolutely let you know if you're somewhere you're not supposed to be or if you need to get off a gate. But there's plenty of viewing areas inside that arena from all around being able to stand. But I completely agree. I'd highly recommend if you want to guarantee that you've got a spot to sit in, I mean, it doesn't hurt to go buy your tickets now because it's accessible. WylieRodeo.com. You can have them and be locked in. I mean, you could even do reserve. You can do whatever you want, but you go ahead and get those things kind of locked in.
Get one of those fancy retro
get
hotel
one of the little
keys,
fancy keys,
red or blue, depending on the night.
I'll get some pictures of those.
I want before we wrap up, I kind of want to go back and touch on our founding sponsor there, Inwood Bank and Marvin Fuller.
Yeah.
If you guys watching this want to hear some history about the Wylie Rodeo, go back to last year's rodeo podcast and listen to that. Give that a listen. There's a lot of good information about how the rodeo got started, its origins, and how it grew over the years. That was some really good information.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love some good history stuff.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
I love it.
Well, Miss Tina, thank you so much for taking some time out. I can only imagine what all you've got going on getting ready for next week. So appreciate you taking some time to come out and chat with us. And we appreciate all of you that watch and share and like, subscribe, all the things. Are we supposed to say all that? We never do.
We never do, but
we would love for you to. All we try to do here is live, love Wylie. That's all we're trying to do. Yeah. But no, tell you about things going on in the community, tell you about different businesses and history and things like that around town. So we just appreciate you being here. I think that's it.
Yeah, we connect the people in the city we live and love, right?
That's it. That's tagline.
That's it. All right.
Well, I guess we're out.
We're done. This episode of the Live, Love Wylie podcast is brought to you by the Wylie Chamber of Commerce.